Saquon Barkley or a wide receiver in 2023? Which one are you? What's your preference? Do you like Saquon Barkley at 12-13 turn value? There's some news about Saquon Barkley that we're going to talk about today. We're breaking down Miles Sanders. We're breaking down Chase Brown. We're breaking down running backs versus wide receivers. We're breaking down sleeper running backs. We're doing it all live. The Fantasy Football Show begins right now. File on in.
The FantasyFootballShow.com studios. It's the Fantasy Football Show. Live! Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Eastern.
What is going on, good people? I'm sorry about the delay today. We had a bunch of things going on here, so sorry about that. But we're here. We're doing it live. We're usually well over an hour, so we'll definitely be going well past the normal time today because we're about 25 minutes late getting started. But we're talking RBs today. The phone lines will soon be open. We're talking Saquon Barkley. We're talking Miles Sanders, and we're going to be talking about a lot of other players. And then we're going to go ahead and jump right into the which one game and try and determine where we like Saquon Barkley. And James Lancaster says promo code Smitty Underdog Fantasy. That's right. Use promo code Smitty and play Underdog Fantasy. Tonight we'll be drafting. And we do Panic Chamber. We might do Panic Chamber and drafting. I'm not sure how we're going to do it yet, but Panic Chamber is every Tuesday night. Maybe we'll do Panic Chamber, then jump into some live drafts after. Not quite sure which, or if we'll just do two separate videos. But file on in, everybody. Appreciate everybody being here. But we'll be playing the name game, as I was saying, and deciding which one of Barkley or wide receiver we prefer walking into 2023. Will we say, I want wide receiver, or will we say we want Saquon Barkley? So we'll get into that in a minute, and value running back in round two, because that's where Barkley's kind of going. But we do need to talk about a couple other RBs today. Let's kick it off with Saquon Barkley since we're on the topic, and just say that it doesn't look good for a long-term deal for Saquon. This could be good and bad. I mean, good in a sense that he's playing for next year. He's trying to, get a big fat contract next year. Probably will not be franchise tagged again. It's more expensive to franchise tag a person in back-to-back years, especially at RB. It's not like you're just franchise tagging him. It's extra. It's 120% of the previous year or greater amount, depending on different numbers that get created based on the franchise tag number. So it's not an affordable number. It's possible he could be franchise tagged twice in a row, but just not likely. So if he doesn't get signed to a big deal, he's playing for next year. But there's that certain fine line between if he gets banged up in week 12 and then he's like, I'm going to worry about, this isn't going to hurt me to sit out week 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. But I've got this injury. I got to protect myself, a little bit of a knee issue. And then he believes that it will not affect him finding a new home. Those kind of risks are at play when a player's, has to protect their future. So while he could play for a new contract and ball out all year long, he could also sit out at the end to try and protect himself. So it's really, really, really a fine line. You want him on a big contract. A lot of players sign a big fat deal. They end up sometimes, dialing back their effort, but I don't think Saquon would do that. I think Saquon wants to be in New York. I think Saquon feels a little bit slighted that Danny Dimes got his, and it would be good. At the end of the day, it'd be a good thing for Barkley to get his big fat payday, and I think there's some unknown, hard to predict risks at play if he doesn't get his contract, So we'll be rooting for that. We'll be looking for it, but it doesn't sound like a long-term deal for Saquon is particularly close, says Fox Sports. So we'll get to Saquon in a second. Miles Sanders, this one's interesting. ESPN writing the goal. This sounds like an opinion piece, so keep that in mind. But ESPN is reporting. This isn't coming from the coaching staff necessarily, but they're probably hearing it maybe. But ESPN's reporting the goal is to get Miles Sanders back to where he was as a rookie in 2019 when he caught 50 passes. If Miles Sanders can catch 50 passes and stay healthy, he's a running back too. So there's some good value here. I don't know if I buy into Miles Sanders. This offense will be up and down. I'm very excited to see what Bryce Young could do as a rookie. but we certainly don't have any sort of like guarantees that Miles Sanders, if he stays healthy, will even be able to do this or not. But there's a nice little value range for Miles Sanders where if you're not taking him as a high-end running back too, or you're getting him even in flex territory, he's got some decent value. But am I taking him as a high-end running back too? Probably not, because I feel like there are so many other players that are better to grab in that territory. You're talking 4th and 5th round. There's no way I'm drafting Miles Sanders over even a wide receiver like Christian Watson or Drake London or a Kenneth Walker or players like that. But if I'm drafting Miles Sanders past that territory, there's decent value there. So we'll have to watch his ADP and monitor it, because on draft day, I don't necessarily know that I'll be buying at the cost, even though there's some upside. And I could admit there's upside. Chase Brown signed to a 4-year contract with the Cincinnati Bengals. This kid is special. This kid is in a nice situation. Miles Sanders, we can't really write off entirely yet. And Joe Mixon. Joe Mixon, we can't write off entirely. And he's falling into a pretty good territory. Joe Mixon is not a bad value. Like I've seen him go in flex running back territory. And if you can grab Chase Brown and Joe Mixon together, I apologize if I said Miles Sanders again when I was talking about Joe Mixon. If you can grab Joe Mixon and Chase Brown together at deep flex value, that's not bad. Like if I draft Chase Brown, I might kind of intentionally look for Mixon in a decent territory, grab the two, and have a super flex, not necessarily a quarterback super flex, but like a monster flex option, because Mixon and Chase Brown together in your flex is very, very solid. In this offense, maybe Mixon doesn't stay healthy, but maybe he plays great for 5 games, then Chase Brown comes in. I really feel like this is a late guy, like a late end of the year, near double-digit weeks, week 10, 11, 12, 13. If we expect it in weeks 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, that's when we typically get disappointed, when we go all in on some sort of sleeper running back like Chase Brown, and we're like, he's going to be a baller. He's going to be an insane Chase Brown to the moon. I mean, we do that a lot, and we land a lot too, but this is one of those that I could see taking a little while to get going. Maybe not. Maybe week 5 or 6 he's in there, and let's hope so. I mean, this is a big sleeper candidate for the show right here. To the moon, Chase Brown. Might even be a moon man, at the end of it all. So keep tabs on the moon man list. We might be adding a moon man named Chase Brown, or somebody very, very close to that vein, like an A-chain, a Chase Brown. There are like 4 or 5 running backs that are in this territory that you would get in 12 overall, 13 overall in your rookie-only draft. But Chase Brown has tremendous appeal. And in fantasy football, in rookie-only drafts, you're getting this kid at 12, 13, 14, right around that territory, right around where Hyatt's going. Jalen Hyatt, if you need a wide receiver. Mingo is going a little bit ahead of Chase Brown, a little bit ahead of Hyatt. That's about where we're talking in a rookie-only draft. But in a dynasty startup even, or let's call it redraft. Let's go redraft. Redraft, he's going probably, I don't know, well into the double-digit rounds. This is like one of your last running backs you're grabbing. You're beefing up at wide receiver. You're going after your first backup quarterback. You're going after your first backup tight end, and you're sitting at this territory going, wow, do I go backup tight end right now? Do I go 5th wide receiver, or do I say screw it? I'm taking a running back that's a difference maker. I'm taking a running back that by double-digit weeks might be in one of the best starting lineups in the entire National Football League. Get excited, Chase Brown prospective owners, because this kid's got a lot of value. And yeah, it will be weird, Hazelnut. I think about it all the time. Chase Brown to Jamar Chase. Chase and Chase equals dominance. Okay. So we are done with the news. There wasn't a lot of news today. That's why, I was quiet today. I took a little time off to just relax, during the morning part of the day, kind of fuel up for tonight's drafting. And we draft tonight. We draft tonight on Underdog Fantasy, promo code Smitty. I'm live Monday through Friday at 7 p.m. Eastern. I'm live whenever news breaks. Our drafting marathon every single week. Mock drafts, live drafts is Thursday, Friday, Saturday. We're traditionally not going to just staple in mock drafting and live drafting on Tuesdays anymore because it's going to be Panic Chamber live, Panic Chamber Tuesdays, midnight. But we may tack on drafting at the end of that show or do some kind of combined Panic Chamber and draft show. Daily uploads. This is the schedule for the off season. During the in season, it gets a little bit different, but not much. In season, we've got the same thing Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Eastern, live whenever news breaks. This never changes right here. And these times never change in these dates, really. It just what is what. So on at midnight on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, the same days we would be mock drafting, but once the season starts, we're at start bench, start sit shows. So there's that. Sundays we'll do waiver wire. Mondays is buy low, sell high. Tuesday night will still be Panic Chamber, just like it is during the off season, and then other random uploads. So that's the schedule right there. File on in, hit that thumb up button. Where is it? Here it is. Let's ask you all which wide receiver you would like. Let's go St. Brown. St. Brown or Barkley? Barkley or St. Brown? Which one of you is taking St. Brown? Which one of you is taking St. Brown? I'm very, very curious to know which one of you wants St. Brown over Barkley, who a lot of you love Barkley at 12, and I think Barkley at 12 is nice. I'm not going to lie. I like Barkley at 12. But St. Brown, a wide receiver, PPR, or at least half PPR, who are you taking? I'm going to go ahead and say I like Barkley a lot. I do, but I do find it hard for me to draft him because 12 is a good, not a bad spot. We're not reaching for Barkley at 12. We're not. Barkley at 12 is not crazy, but I lean wide receiver, and nobody plays in non-PPR anymore. If you're watching, sure. If you play it here, look. Hey, Grandma, this advice isn't for you. Grandma, any non-PPR people out there, take Barkley, okay? Now for the rest of everybody else, because everybody and their mother at least plays. Grandmothers no, but mothers and up play at least 0.5 PPR. Non-PPR Barkley for grandmas. For 0.5 or 1 point, I'm going to say give me St. Brown. And it doesn't mean that... hold on a second. Let's do this right. All right, St. Brown. And it doesn't mean that I don't like Barkley. It just means that, you know what? I feel like I can go into round 3 and 4 and go get some RBs. I feel like I can do some sort of like maneuver. Let's go to the board real quick and just say, I feel like I can do some sort of maneuver. Let's call it... let's say we even get a wide receiver in this territory. Let's say we get Jamar Chase. And Barkley's going here, but St. Brown's going maybe here. But even if we say we're taking St. Brown here, let's say Barkley fell. St. Brown here. I feel like this is a territory that's pretty decent for RB, and I probably would approach it like that. I don't know. Barkley and Chase would be nice, though. I guess it depends on what you're handed in round 1, to be honest. But I wouldn't mind going St. Brown and Chase. And then in round 3, start looking at some RBs. But the problem with this approach... yeah, let's try Barkley here. Maybe if we're going Chase in round 1, we do go Bark. Because I love the value of like Burrow and London or Watson or whatever. And you do kind of want to have RB in those 4. And I don't know if I want to force an RB in 3 or 4. Walker's pretty nice in like 4 or 5. You could do something like this. St. Brown. You could go Chase, St. Brown, Burrow, and even not force it here. And then in this round 5, if Walker goes there, we could go Walker. We could go, Kamara. Get Charbonnet later. I mean, I wouldn't be opposed to that right there. Like, that would be good. Chase, St. Brown, Burrow, London, and then start going. You're going 0 RB. You go Walker, Charbonnet later. You go Kamara. I mean, Kamara and Walker, Charbonnet would be a fantastic running back crew in a 0 running back approach through 4 rounds. That would be a straight fire team. Walker, Charbonnet, Alvin Kamara. And if not Kamara, you could go Swift. He sometimes falls to round 6. Who doesn't love that team? I love that team. Okay, says you disrespect Saquon. I'll never forgive you. Bro, you and I never agree on anything. I honestly don't even know why you watch the channel. I really, really, like, it's one of the mysteries of the world is why you even, I know you love to troll and peace and everything, but you troll. I really don't know why you watch the channel. Like, I have zero understanding as to why you watch the channel. You disagree with me on everything. What do I bring you value-wise? I have no idea because you disagree with everything I say. St. Brown and Barkley, it's that big of a deal to you? It is that big of a deal? What about the disrespect you're showing to St. Brown by saying this isn't even close? I at least wavered. I wavered. Could I go Barkley? Absolutely I could. Could you? Probably not. Apparently you can't do both. Apparently you can't be objective. You are only slanted towards Saquon Barkley. I, on the other hand, could roll 2 different ways on this. I could also go Barkley. Chase, Barkley, Burrow. I'm not going to even force running back here. I'll just keep London. And I'm still okay with this. And you don't have to go running back here, but I don't mind it. I got 2 wide receivers. Doesn't really change anything. I put Barkley in here instead of St. Brown. I think I could keep the same team and still be like, let's ride. Championship team right here. Chase, Barkley, Burrow, London, Walker, Charbonnet, Swift. I'm still loving that team. That team is straight fire. And you could, I suppose, get London or Watson in round 5 if you didn't want to go Walker. You could still get Charbonnet. There's so many ways to do this, but bottom line is this: if I'm forced to choose, I feel like I'm gonna go St. Brown. I love Barkley. It depends on if it's PPR. I do love both these guys, so I'm not like opposed to it. I guess the other question would be, somebody give me another name that's in round 2 that you think would be some sort of tough call between Barkley and said wide receiver. Someone give me a tough call combo here. Smitty, if you're getting Chase, you take him at 1.2, so means your next pick is 2.11. It would be Olave or Pollard. St. Brown's fallen there. I mean, I would do Olave. Chase doesn't always go at 1.2. He does a lot of the time with us, but in a lot of other drafts, he doesn't always go there. In best ball, he's been going there, but you got to remember the stack. People love the stack. A lot of times, Christian McCaffrey, sometimes people take Kelsey. Like, I've seen Chase go at 4 on the regular in other draft settings, not best ball. St. Brown and Young Bo Jackson. Waddle or Barkley. That one's easier for me. That's a great one. Waddle can go. In round 2. And for me, that's easy. I don't hate Waddle. I'm not a big, I'm against Waddle guy. But as my second drafted player, especially like where Barkley is more toward the 13, 14, 12 range. And there's no way I'm drafting Waddle that high. I think a better example, so that one is easy for me. Very, very easy. CeeDee Lamb. Lamb is a different one. Lamb Chops is a little bit different. Lamb Chops, I'd probably say I like them both. I could easily just do this all day long. This would really depend on who I took in round 1. All things being equal, best player available, but when all things are equal, you can lean position. If I went wide receiver, I probably would lean Barkley. And if I went wide receiver in round 1, if I went running back in round 1, like, the problem is, like a Bijan fell and I took Bijan and Lamb fell into round 2. Or if we talk about going like Tyreek Hill in round 1 and at the very top of, like, Tyreek Hill falls, let's say, to the 10-11 range, whatever. And you take Tyreek Hill in round 1 and Barkley and Lamb are both sitting there at the top of round 2. If I went Tyreek Hill, I'm going Barkley. If I went Bijan, I'll probably go Lamb. I probably would mix it up based on who I grabbed. And the same thing could be said for Diggs. I probably have a little bit more tendency to lean toward Diggs no matter what. But if I went, let's say, Tyreek Hill in round 1, I'm at the top of round 2, then I could, if it was Tyreek Hill, go Barkley and feel really comfortable with the balance. And if I went, running back like Bijan, and I got lucky and he fell into the mid to late first round, which still happens in grandma leagues, and Diggs is sitting there at the top of 2, I could easily do that. I could easily go Diggs. So those are very, very even Steven type situations. Garrett Wilson over Barkley. That one's easy for me. There's no way I could pass on Garrett Wilson. Garrett Wilson to me feels like when you get him at 12, 13, 14, you're getting a first rounder. I don't want him in round 1. I want all of you to clean up getting him at the very top of round 2. He doesn't have an ADP inside of round 1. He just doesn't. He doesn't have an ADP even close to like 1.9, 1.8 like he did at one point during the offseason when we were best ball drafting. Now he's cemented into the 13, 14, 15 overall right now. And so that is exactly where Barkley's going. This guy has first round value. Not that Barkley doesn't. Barkley still does have top 5 running back appeal. He really does. But Garrett Wilson, give me Garrett Wilson all day long. Someone said DK Metcalf. Someone asking a different question. Please tell me you're not putting DK Metcalf in the second round. AJ Brown over Barkley. That one's a little tougher for me. I'll be honest. You guys know I love AJ Brown, but if we're sitting here again and I've got an RB like Bijan at the bottom of round 1 and I got lucky, then I probably would go AJ Brown to get that balance. I like balance. When all things are even and equal, I like balance. I am very much best player available, which can lead me down any road I want, and best player available when these guys are really darn even puts me in a position where I want to choose balance. I don't want to go RB or wide receiver if I can choose balance. Balance always gives you the nice luxury later on to go in any direction you want. Because if I come out of round 1 and 2 with RB, wide receiver, or wide receiver, RB, my options are wide open. I can do whatever the heck I want. I can go quarterback without any hesitation whatsoever in round 3. If Burrow's sitting there at the bottom of 3, I can do whatever I want. So if I've got an RB, I'd probably go AJ Brown. If I've already got a wide receiver, I probably go Saquon Barkley. Those are very, very even. Love AJ Brown this year, says George. I do too, but I do worry about his knees. I kind of always do. Let's see. I'd take DK in round 2, says Peanut Butter and Waivers. Oh, I wouldn't. I don't think he sniffs round 2. I think he's probably a round 3 guy for me if I'm even. And even then, I'm a little bit weary of it because there's so many other players. Like, I'd much rather have London or Watson a round later and go quarterback early than force DK in round 3. So to grab DK in round 2, I would never take DK Metcalf in round 2 in 2023 personally. But that's me, bro. Never. It would never be on my team as a round 2 player. But round 3 would be very tough for me. Very, very tough for me. B-Rob or Devontae. B-Rob or Devontae. Brian Robinson? Come on, Marty. It better not be Brian Robinson versus Devontae. Even a Devontae doubter as I am. Like, what are we talking about here? They're not even in the same ballpark. Are you talking about Bijan Robinson? I know you're not talking about Bijan Robinson. Either way, Marty, you're taking a lap for asking this question because it's either Bijan Robinson or B-Rob, who is the nickname of Brian Robinson. Bijan is not nicknamed B-Rob. So either you're asking me about Bijan, my number 1 running back, versus Devontae Adams, who I'm so down on this year, or you're asking me about Brian Robinson versus Devontae Adams. Either way, you're taking a lap, Marty, because the answer is easily Devontae if it's B-Rob, easily Bijan if it's Bijan. So take a lap, get to go.
Hi, my name is Bijan Robinson. I like long walks on the beach. And, well, I also like scoring. Call into the show. Call into the show.
Jeez, Marty. Really, Marty. Adam.
Hey, Smitty, I only got one question. When you gonna put my boy Dell on the Moon Man list where he belongs?
I'm going to put, are you talking about Tank Dell? I love Tank Dell. I don't know that he's cracking the Moon Man list, but he could definitely be in the Satellite Man list. We're going to have a whole bunch of more space territories that these guys can go to so we can populate more spacemen. But the Moon Man list is a select, 14 guys. I like them enough to put them potentially on the Satellite Man list, but Tank Dell, a guy I absolutely love, you guys know that, is definitely in the conversation, but he probably won't be on the Moon Man list yet. If we start catching some buzz where I feel like this thing is going to steamroll really quick, we might throw him there. But I don't know. For now, I can't put him on the Moon Man list yet, but appreciate the question. Adam, I forgot to hold down the button. Go to, let's see here, about 26 minutes into the show. There you go. That's the voicemail crew. If you guys want to be a part of the voicemail leaving crew, all you got to do is go to my Instagram at The Fantasy Football Show. Click that subscribe button, and for $4, a measly $4.99 a month. $4.99 a month. I'll put you in a private chat where you can chat with a bunch of like-minded people that are also paying $4.99, so they're taking it seriously. And you guys can all chat all day long, get bounce ideas off each other. And any voicemails, when you hold down the microphone, all voicemails are for me only. So everybody can chat in there. I try and get in there and text as well, but mainly the voicemails are for me. The texts are for everybody else, and it's a great little group to get in. So jump into that. And the phone line is open. I'm sorry if I missed a call. You're live on the Fantasy Football Show. Hello?
Hey.
What's up?
Oh, you didn't even say it's Ron Navy.
I didn't get a chance to look at who was calling. What's up, Ron?
Hey, not much. Enjoying the content. Hey, just a shout out. We just started that Dynasty Graveyard League, dude, named after the show and the group of people that watch your show. We just started our draft about 20 minutes ago, so
very
shout
nice.
out to everybody in the draft, everybody that's listening to your show that's in the draft.
Where did Bijan go? Number 2?
Oh yeah, we're only like 2 picks in, so it's at the very beginning. He hasn't went yet, but
who went 1?
It's exciting, yes. JJ and then Chase.
Nice. Bella, check yourself.
Yeah.
Bella, check yourself. You're live. What's up, pal?
Yo, what's going on, Smitty? How y'all doing?
I'm good, man. How you doing?
I'm doing good, man. So I found out that I'm actually able to do some best balls on DraftKings because I don't have Underdog.
Yeah, we don't know what that is over here. We're Underdog fantasy only, pal. We're not sure what that. We're not sure what that is.
Connecticut, man. I live in Connecticut, man.
Okay.
I did have Underdog. I love it, but it's nothing we can do, man.
Yeah. Well, we only mentioned Underdog over here, but go ahead. What else can I do for you?
No, I was just telling you. I wanted you to check this team out. Tell me what you think. I think it was pretty solid.
All right, hit me with it.
I kind of waited. I waited a long time to get a quarterback, but I ended up with Dak Prescott, Bijan Robinson, Bryce Hall, Chris Olave,
Hold on.
Drake.
Bryce Hall. Let's put some respect on the man's name, known as Brees. Okay, his name's Brees Hall.
Brees Hall.
All right, go ahead.
All right, so my running backs are Brees Hall, Bijan Robinson. I have Samaje P. Wright, Damian Harris.
Okay.
And I believe, and my wide receivers are Olave, Watson, London, Zay Flowers, and my quarterback is Prescott. And
I like
I have Derek Carr, and I have AR-15.
I like it, bro. Yeah, we don't need need the whole team, but yeah, that's a good squad. Dak, Bijan, Brees. I mean, I don't love Dak. I personally would try for a different QB, but like you had to go with a different. You had to go with
them because I waited so long.
Yeah. Bijan, Brees, Olave. I mean, those are great wide receivers. Some of them are undervalued. You probably didn't get a high score, I imagine, by their ranking or whatever. But yeah, you got a good team there. It's an upside team, definitely loaded with upside. Definitely going to do well. I like it a lot. If you could somehow mix in a quarterback that's just a little bit, like if you could somehow find it'd be tough because you'd have to probably lose one of those wide receivers to get a Burrow in there.
It would depend because I do have AR-15 too, and I have Carr, plus I have Olave, so.
That's not bad. That's good. Hold on one second, Bella. We got a Cody dropping a $20 hauler. Appreciate you dropping that. Let's get you all reined up. Cody in the building. Cody. Appreciate you, Cody. Cody's question was, traded Goff, Gus the Bus, Khalil Herbert, got Elijah Moore and Mooney. I don't know. This is one of those trades where it's like, I think both teams almost got worse. There's no big names in here, but I guess I would say this totally depends on whether Elijah Moore steps up. Mooney and Moore are pretty decent if you needed two wide receivers in this situation. Khalil Herbert could either be an absolute monster in waiting because we still truly love this kid and believe in him, and his situation is not that crazy. Like Roshan Johnson, we like him a lot, but I've heard rumblings today too on Newswires, but I've heard rumblings that it's definitely going to be some sort of committee for a little while. And so both of them are going to get a shot. Roshan and Khalil both have an opportunity to try and grab a hold of the job. And it still may be some sort of committee all year long there. But I think that Chicago is going to lean on, the explosive playmaker that helps them win. And Khalil Herbert, if he gets a shot, I really, really, really like the odds of him climbing back into relevancy and becoming a guy we're celebrating on the regular. So personally, if I needed an RB, I'd rather have Khalil Herbert than these wide receivers. But if I need wide receivers, those are two pretty good ones to get. Love, after it was offered, Love for Rodgers. Rodgers is going to have a year, but it's in Dynasty. Would you make that trade? I would rather have Love if it's Dynasty. Yeah. I like Rodgers a lot, but Love could hang with Rodgers all year too. I'd rather have Rodgers. I think Rodgers has the better year. He's got Garrett Wilson. He's got the defense. I truly believe Rodgers will have an electric year. But Love could hang with them at times, and getting that dynasty value and appeal, I'd rather probably have Love. It's tough. If you can win now, though, maybe you sacrifice the potential future advantage of getting Jordan Love, and you go ahead and just roll with Aaron Rodgers to win your league this year. So it kind of just depends on that too. Like I wouldn't be, and Rodgers could stay 2 years in New York. So wouldn't shock me if Aaron Rodgers played 2 years, became really, really, excited about football again. And 2 years is a long time, and Aaron Rodgers should play at a very high level for 2 years. But if you're looking long term, yeah, Love's fine. Would you try and get to 2.2 as well? I would, sure. Yeah, I definitely would. Always try. Appreciate you for dropping that $20 hauler, Cody. All right, go back to Bella. You have anything else? Hello?
Yeah, sorry, my bad. I was on mute.
Yeah, no problem.
I was on mute.
No problem.
But no, I just wanted to drop that team on you. I'm in 2 other slow drafts, so I got the 12th spot on that. So I'm just waiting on that. But
Yeah.
just wanted to know what you thought about that team.
Yeah, I mean, I like it.
Approach.
I like it. I think another approach that I would take with this, like, so you got Bijan in round 1, I assume. You got. I assume you got Brees in 3, and you got Olave in 2. Am I right?
No, actually, I got
Other way.
I got Bijan with number 7 overall.
Yep.
Brees 26. Olave 30 overall.
Nice. So the
And,
only thing I would consider here is maybe, was Burrow by chance available for the 4th round pick?
No, they were snatching the quarterbacks off. Like, they were
Okay.
taking them real quick, being that it's best ball. So that's why I was able to get Olave, Watson, and London.
Yeah, it's a good team, bro. That's a real good team. The only other way you could maybe go is, like, instead of Brees, which I obviously love Brees, I'm just saying variations of it, will be to go, what was Mahomes, Josh Allen, or Hurts available at the Brees Hall pick?
Yeah, they were there.
Okay, so let's just say you went Hurts here, and then, you try and find this RB via, a Walker later if he falls or whatever, and then cuff him to Charbonnet. Those are the only other, like, ways you could go. Like, you did good. That was fine.
Yeah.
It was fine.
I actually got Mingo, too, so I got Kincaid.
Mingo,
I like Irv Smith.
Mingo, and Mingo was his name all.
we love Mingo around these parts, bro. All
I
right,
love Mingo.
let's go. Hang tight. Mute for me, Bella. Check yourself, unless that's Matt's phone. But one of you's got a lot of background noise.
problem.
Matt, you're live.
What up, Bubba?
What's up?
I just had a question. I was gonna. I drafted a best ball draft out
Okay.
of the puppy league, and I wanted to see what you thought of my team.
All right, hit me with it.
All right, so I got Patrick Mahomes, Kyler Murray, Trey Lance, Derrick Henry, Kenneth Walker, Jamal Williams, Algier, and then I got Mostert. And then I got Jamar Chase, Lockett, Marquise Brown, Zay Flowers, Odell, Curtis Samuel, McCole, and then Woods. And then I got tight end, George Kittle, Hayden Hurst.
Okay, I got most of
What
it.
do you think?
I got most of it, but yeah, I mean, I like the core of it. You didn't get Charbonnet?
I did not. I don't. So, like, what? I haven't been able to. I've been super busy, so I haven't caught a lot of your videos. I know you're a big Kenneth Walker guy, and I'm pretty sure you're big on Charbonnet? Is that what it is?
Charbonnet. Get Charbonnet. Yeah,
So what's your take on both of those now?
there's only 2 options in 2023, in my opinion. Option number 1 is both.
You cuff 'em?
Both. Option number 2 is Charbonnet only. Those are the only 2 options.
So I think that this draft was so, like, the Lions taking Gibbs, and I think Bijan going with probably, like, 2 of the most questionable picks.
Why do you think Gibbs? Why do you think Gibbs is
Lions-
questionable though? Gibbs is on a fantastic location.
Here's my thing. I do know that Atlanta runs the ball a ton, but Algier rushed for like 1,000 yards last year, and I think drafting a running back at that price, Bijan, he's to the moon. I get that. I'm super big on him. I think he's like Christian McCaffrey, like, and I think he's going to be a beast. I just think, like, I just thought it was kind of crazy that I think the last running back to get drafted that high was like Saquon for the Giants. I think he went like 3rd overall. I just think in the NFL the running backs are a dime a dozen.
Yeah, but that's the old man thinking though. Like, and no offense, but it's the old man thinking of we can't take an RB early because that's the trend. This is a generational talent. Algier is he's going to do his dry cleaning, bro. Algier's nothing. He's a peon compared to.
But do you think he could poach touchdowns from him though? Like,
no. That's like saying
so?
that's like saying the steak in my freezer is coming out before the hamburger meat. It's like, what am I? Which one am I thawing first? You know, which one am I going to use? Would you rather eat prime rib or have Taco Bell, you know, ground beef that they cooked in the pan with hot water that was frozen? I don't know if you know that, but at Taco Bell, that meat, it's really good though. Let's be honest. I mean, Algiers good. Algiers good. The Taco Bell meat's actually kind of good. But they take a frozen bag of that meat. They take boiling water in one of those, you know, those metal pans. They put boiling hot water in it. Boiling can be the hottest hot water you can. They take that frozen Taco Bell meat, drop it in, stir it, and it's cooked. That's all they do. You're talking about a prime rib dinner versus something like that. I love Algier. This is not a knock on Algier, but Bijan is miles and miles and miles above him, bro. It's not even close. Yeah, so it's like
Algier, you can find him like lately.
Yeah, he's a handcuff. He's a glorified handcuff now, but he's taking nothing away from Bijan. Will he get used? Sure. You know, they got to keep Bijan fresh. You don't want to run Bijan 400 touches his rookie year. So could he get a touchdown or two? Sure. Any backup running back could get a touchdown or two. You know, a lot of times running backs will tear it up during between the 20s, and Bijan will be winded, and he'll come out of the game, and then Algier will come in, who they do like. He's a hard runner. He's a good runner. But like, no. And do I think it was a mistake for Atlanta to do it? A lot of people say that, like, oh, they have other holes they could have went. They got an RB. They don't have an RB when you're comparing them to Bijan. This is like the teams that passed on Adrian Peterson, you know, at 1, 2, 3, 4. And there were some other good players that went. Like, there's some teams that didn't necessarily miss. But Adrian Peterson was not a player you passed on because you had an RB. You know, Saquon Barkley wasn't a running back you passed on because you had an RB. And so in the case of Gibbs too, it was a little confusing to everybody because Swift was still on the roster, but their intention was to trade him immediately. Yeah. And therefore, you know, in retrospect, in hindsight, that was an amazing pick. And I think everybody's giving the Lions too much grief over taking him 12 overall when there are several reports, whether people want to believe it or not, these two running backs are very special. And yeah, maybe RBs go back to going in the late 20s in the future drafts, and that's probably where their value is going to remain. This was a special draft with two special players that I think are going to be very special running backs at the NFL level. And their values were just different. Their values were higher than normal. Everybody just needed to, like, for one moment, for 1 year, understand that the running back value is going to change briefly and then go back to normal. We didn't think Gibbs would go that high, but in retrospect and what I'm hearing, there were multiple teams that were going to snag Gibbs up around the 12 to 18 overall pick. So they took him at 12.
I think if a team was going to reach, if it was Atlanta, because that's if Bijan with that offense, how much they run the ball and are running back like dependent, like how they Cordell and Algier, which Patterson was out majority of the year, but they run the ball a ton. So like it makes sense. I just thought like it was when they did it, I was kind of shocked. I was thinking he was going to go like, you know, late. And honestly, at the time, I thought maybe Gibbs would have fell a little bit, but I like it, man. What do you think the season's going to look like for the Lions? You think it's going to be? I'm actually I'm ready to see them play.
Yeah, they're division winning contenders, like no doubt about it. I think it's going to be a dog fight crawl between the Lions and the Bears. And I think the Bears end up winning the division, but I mean, it's a dog fight. Like, could the Lions win it? Absolutely. Absolutely. Lions have such a good team, bro. They're so good at running the football. Jameson Williams is only out 6 games. Everybody wants to pretend like it's the end of the, you know, oh God, they had it all lined up and now they're not going to.
D-Hop missed 6 last year, and he almost got 1,000. So I mean, I think it's gonna be crazy, man.
Jameson's fine. Jameson's fine.
Are you doing? I know I can't remember your schedule. Are you doing any drafts tonight?
Yeah, we'll do a draft tonight. Midnight. It's usually about midnight each time. Hey, Matt, hang tight real quickly. Hang tight real quickly, Matt. You can stay on the line here. We're gonna go to the 816 caller. Mute for me, Matt, if you could though, just because there's a little background noise. 816. Who am I talking to?
I got you.
Oh yeah, everybody in my league told me Pete Carroll. So
I got one quick question for you, man. I got a lot of running backs, right? So that's pretty much what I do. But my wide receivers aren't that strong, so I know I need to trade for a wide receiver, but I just need a little help.
Okay.
I got Barkley, I got Bijan, got ETN, got Javante.
Okay, hold on one second. We're gonna call you Pete Carroll. I think that's what you said. People call you Pete Carroll. Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
We'll call, Pete Carroll it is. All right, Barkley, Bijan. Who else do you have, Pete?
ETN, Ramondre. I got Kenneth Walker, Charbonnet.
Is this a 4-man league or what?
Nah, it's a 10-man dynasty.
Okay. Tell me your wide receivers must be trash because this is like a crazy amount of running backs.
Yeah. Oh yeah, man. I got way more running backs than that. I'm not gonna name them all.
Okay.
But my wide receivers are Chris Olave, Kenan Allen, and London, Michael Thomas, Lazard, and Deontay Johnson.
Michael Thomas. Who else? Michael Thomas. Who?
Michael Thomas, Alan Lazard.
Okay.
Deontay Johnson, London, and I got Williams on the bench. Because he got the 6-week suspension, and JSN.
Okay, JSN, that's good. Honestly, you don't need to really do anything. Olave, London, JSN, Olave, London, Mike Williams, those are all, those are good wide receivers. I don't think you almost got to you could maybe trade like a Stevenson or an ETN potentially to try and get like a Garrett Wilson. Then you'd be unstoppable. I would maybe do that.
So
Stevenson.
I traded 2 for 1, or just trade 1?
I trade Stevenson and ETN one or the other, and you could throw in a Mike Williams, you could throw in a Mike Thomas, you could throw in a Keenan Allen. I would trade Keenan Allen and ETN or Keenan Allen and Stevenson for Garrett Wilson in a heartbeat. I would do that. Obviously, Jamar Chase, if you could get that done, but you won't get that done.
Oh yeah, I could try to do super cool. And what about for a quarterback, man? I think that's a super tour. Because all I got is Baker Mayfield, Ryan Tannehill, and
God.
But
yeah, you got to get.
My number one is Josh Allen, though.
Oh, you're fine.
Yeah, but it's a super flex, so it's like I can select a running back, but
Yeah, London. I'm sorry, Love. Jordan Love is a good quarterback to go get. I think that's a little cheaper than he should be. I think you're probably not going to get any of the big dogs. For an RB, you're just not. But you could try. You could certainly try. But would I give up? If you don't give up for a wide receiver and you still have Stevenson or ETN to trade, I'd certainly be trying to get, I don't know. You could maybe go cheap and try and get, you said you have other running backs. Maybe some of the other running backs you have that are still solid, try and get like an Anthony Richardson or a Bryce Young. Try and get one of those rookies in there. Anthony Richardson's going to be protected into some running, so I definitely would take Anthony Richardson. Yeah. I'd go that route.
Yeah, I'm the guy that got but the guy that got Anthony Richardson, man, he snatched both of the
Jordan Love, Aaron Rodgers. Use some of those other running backs you didn't name with maybe a Mike Williams, with maybe a Mike Thomas. Some people are excited about Mike Thomas, Keenan Allen. I would keep Olave, JSN, and London. I would definitely do not trade Olave, do not trade London, do not trade Bijan. Everybody else is fair game, I think, but probably don't trade Barkley. And these are the two guys that you're looking to maybe deal. Walker, do you have Charbonnet?
Yes.
Okay, so you got Charbonnet and Walker. Keep that combo. So Stevenson, ETN for Garrett Wilson trade. Throwing in one of these guys and one of these wide receivers that aren't Olave or London. I'd probably keep JSN too, but I wouldn't be opposed to trading him if the right deal came along. But yeah, go get Jordan Love or Aaron Rodgers or those would be the two QBs I'd target.
What about Tua?
Bryce Young. Tua's not bad if you're giving up something very, very, like you're not using it, like a Keenan Allen, sure. Keenan Allen and a running back you're not using, sure. But just make sure you grab Mike White and have the combination, then you're set.
Okay.
But yeah, that's a cheap solution. Yeah, appreciate you, man. You can stay on the line if you want. Just mute yourself if you don't mind. Go back to Ron Navy. Ron Navy, you got anything else?
Hey, yeah, to answer your question, Bijan went pick 3.
I figured. I figured in our area. Real quickly, Garrett's dropping a super chat. Garrett, hold on. Garrett's had another super chat out here. Let me just get to his 2 super chats. Garrett, appreciate your 2 super chats, your doubles. Smitty, Law Dog Moon Man, he deserves it. 6 in the 7th. Everyone is excited about Mike Thomas, Smitty. Yes. No one's excited about Mike Thomas. Where did you get that? Garrett, where did you get that? Nobody said anything about Mike Thomas. The guy owns him. How is he excited about him? He owns him. We're talking about how he could trade away Mike Thomas. But T-Law does deserve to be a satellite man. At least, I agree. Some more space walking will happen. So hang tight on that. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Ron. Thank you, Garrett. Appreciate your super chats.
Yeah, well, I mean, it makes sense. I mean, most of the people in this league, or all of the people in this league, watch your content. So, they're not letting Bijan go very far down the draft first. I mean, can you blame them? I don't.
Yeah, I mean, especially if it's dynasty, right? So, I mean, he's the number one. There is no. He's arguably 1, 2, or 3. Probably even outside of our community, he's 1, 2, or 3 in the dynasty. So. Not surprising. Smitty, you did say. Anyways, yeah. Oh, did I say some people are excited about Mike Thomas? I guess I did.
Everybody, a lot of people watching your show and drafting, and the league was named after the graveyard shift. You know how we all late night with Smitty. So
yeah, that's great.
Graveyard it is. It's fun.
Nice.
Anyways, yeah, Smitty, I'm going to let you go because I'm doing the.
All right, Ron. Good luck with your draft. What pick are you at? What pick are you at?
Right now I'm the 111, and I traded a couple picks, so I'm the 111, 112, and then I come back with the second pick in the second round right now.
Gotcha.
Or no, not the.
All right, Ron.
Yeah, something like that.
Go get him.
Later.
All right, Pete Carroll, you got anything else?
Oh, no. That's it.
All right. Hey, call back anytime, Pete Carroll. I got you in the phone system, so I'm going to see you calling. I'll answer it. More likely to answer it because I got you in here. Appreciate you, man.
All right.
You got another one. Call me back. All right. Looks like got Bijan from the 9th today. That's crazy. Smitty, can your Suns get a win in Denver? I hope so, bro. Are they playing tonight, though? Isn't it tomorrow? Aren't they playing tomorrow, bro? Oh no, it is tonight. I'm so off on my. Yeah, because last night was the Laker game. Yeah, okay, yeah. I barely slept, so my days are running. My days run into each other. I keep thinking it's one day when 2 days have passed. That's my problem. Yesterday I got Chase from the 5th. The answer to your question is yes. The Suns. Remember that guy? Who was it that came in here? Who was the guy that came in here clowning on my Suns saying, Smitty, remember you told everybody the Suns are going to win. Now they're 0-2. Suns are 2-2, baby. It's all tied up. 2-2. Suns are going to take it tonight. If they play tonight, I think they play tonight. And I'm excited. I'm gonna be ecstatic if that happens. I knew Pete Carroll for real, says Peanut Butter and Waivers. Yesterday I got Chase from the 5th spot. That's pretty good, Wild Bill. You were referencing Garrett, I believe. I think maybe it was Garrett. Was it Garrett? Garrett, was it you who came in here and started talking smack about my Suns? And when I said earlier that some people are excited about Mike Thomas, I said that from like a you can take advantage of him perspective. Like when he gave me Mike Thomas as one of his players, I'm like, some people are excited about him. Trying to trade it to him. That's what I meant. It was more of like a joke. And there are some people that believe Mike Thomas is going to do something like Garrett. I think you could trade Garrett, Mike Thomas, and get a whole boatload. Garrett thinks Mike Thomas is bouncing back to his old form. He's not. Lakers, says Brian. I am hopeful that the Lakers win this series as well. I'm rooting for the Lakers. That's a great series. I mean, Warriors, Lakers, that's one of the coolest series yet. I'm rooting for the Suns, obviously, when push comes to shove. But right now, I'm rooting for LeBron. I just like LeBron. LeBron's such a good player. He gets a lot of heat. So does Curry. Curry hasn't been consistent. Curry hasn't, what'd they say? There was a stat out there. Curry's like 0-11 in shooting 3-point shots to win or change the direction of a playoff game. Like 0-11. Like, that's crazy. Like, he is not on point right now. Curry's not clutch. LeBron's clutch. LeBron is clutch. I'm rooting for LeBron. It wasn't me, but not rooting for Durant. More of a whiny baby than LeBron, says Garrett Wilson. Durant's changed a lot, though. You know, like him coming over, he was kind of quiet. Didn't really have much to say. But he has developed a natural, organic respect for Devin Booker that is awesome. Like, to just watch Durant literally say this is Booker's team, and he means it from the bottom of his heart, bro. This is a bond that I think is going to keep Durant in Phoenix. I know everyone says Durant's a ring chaser, but I feel like Durant feels at home. Suns love him. The Suns fans are amazing. The Suns arena is amazing. The Suns experience is amazing during a game. The camaraderie between all the Suns players is phenomenal. I think Durant wants to stay in Phoenix. Phoenix wants him to stay. And he respects Booker like no other. Devin Booker is, what is he? He's a top 5 player in the NBA, right? I mean, is anybody in here, I know I'm biased, but does anybody in here disagree that Devin Booker isn't a top 5 player? He's a top 5 player. He's such an amazing player, and he's getting better every single day. Booker is amazing. Curry is the GOAT. I don't know if he can be considered the GOAT, bro. He's like 0-11 or 0-12 and go ahead, game-changing 3-point shots right now. He's dropping the ball. I'd rather have Devin Booker over Curry for my team. And I know that sounds biased, but it's an objective point of view. Like, Devin Booker is amazing. Curry's great, but I would rather have Booker. I would rather have Booker than Curry on my team. I would not trade Devin Booker for Curry if you gave me the ability to press a button right now. There's no way. There's no way. You could say all you want about him being the best shooter in the league. Devin Booker is coming into his own. He's not even at full capacity right now. Devin Booker is going to get better and better and better. His game's going to get crafted more and more. The Joker. I mean, I could see that ranking. I mean, I understand. Steph Curry is the greatest of all time. No, he's not. Like, you think he's better than Jordan, bro? He's the best shooter of all time. Yes. Guaranteed. But is he the greatest of all time? With the TF, bro, at the end of it? Really, Mason? You're going to say Steph Curry's the best player ever? He's 0-12 and go ahead, win shots, bro. Greatest shooter. Okay, greatest guard, I mean. Well, Jordan wasn't a point guard, but he in the olden days, he still played like he still played what today's point guard kind of is, though, which is weird. But yeah, Jordan's a shooting guard. I mean, Jordan was everything. Jordan was everything. If you're gonna say best shooting guard, let's call it best shooter. Call him best shooter. Best point guard. Okay. I could understand that. But MJ, I don't know, like, LeBron's kind of a guard. LeBron's kind of a point guard in today's NBA. You know, Jordan was kind of the first one to really do that. Give me the ball. I'm not the point guard, but I'm going to take the ball down the court. You know, I wonder what Jordan would have been categorized in fantasy football or fantasy basketball in terms of position eligibility. All right, let's get off of basketball. Let's go straight over to football. Anybody else have a phone call, a question, dial into the show. Super chats, anybody that drops a $50 hauler gets on the board above me. You can see Matt O's prediction right there in the corner. If you want to be on the board, the first 50 I'll even write on the bottom part here so that it can be read on a majority of shows. But $50 haulers, put your receipt on the board, your bold prediction on the board. We'll reference it throughout the year. We'll also at the end of the year look at the board. And we'll try and determine at the end who had the best prediction out of everybody that dropped a $50 hauler bold prediction. So bold predictions on the board. Any $50 haulers, go ahead and drop them. Cooper All right, enough of basketball. Let's get on over to football. Matt Biaggia, you're live.
Yeah, just out of curiosity, Smitty, do you ever listen or look up your competitors and check out their videos? And
I don't really have time for that. I don't really have time for that, bro. I stay in my. I mean, do I see other people? I mean, yeah, but I don't really care. I don't have time to watch anybody. It's all about this channel.
Well, the one guy pronounces his.
Well,
name
let's not.
I'm
not
saying any names.
Let's not go there. But go ahead. Go ahead.
Is it what's the correct? What is the correct name? Is it Bijan or is it Bijan?
It's not Bijan. He says his own name. You hear him say his own name. He says Bijan Robinson. Hi, I'm Bijan Robinson. I'm Bijan Robinson. It's Bijan. It's Bijan from Bijan's own mouth. So anybody who says Bijan is wrong. They don't know what they're talking about. You're listening to. Why are you even going to other channels, bro? You're going to a channel that can't even pronounce.
You should always be very well rounded in fantasy and just check in on consensus.
You're looking at a channel that's pronouncing Bijan wrong. Like there's your fault right there. You're getting advice from somebody that says Bijan. Like, are you really gonna get advice from somebody that says Bijan Robinson, bro? Do they have an animation like this one?
Hi, my name is Bijan Robinson.
Look, even the computer is pronouncing it better than that guy. That's a computer animation that's saying Bijan Robinson. He sounds it out better. But no, bro. I mean, I don't have time. You got to understand what my day looks like. If you knew what my day looked like, you would crap in your pants. You would shart in your pants and say, how do you even sleep, Smitty? How do you even sleep? I have a full content website that I keep up to date constantly. And this isn't like a lot of these other these channels that have just started in the industry. They've been up for 2 years. They've done fantasy football for 2 years. I'm this expert. Oh, I'm this expert. I've got a channel now. And even some of them are growing. Like they've done good on YouTube. But this site has been up. My content site's been up for 20 straight years. There's no draft kit or my rankings will be up in July. It's 365, 24/7. Who invented the trade calculator in the industry? To my knowledge, I've scoured the internet. Maybe someone had one up on some small obscure site that was tiny, but your boy, in 2003, roughly, there was no instant-based trade calculator, customer-facing, instant click. You don't have to upload your lineup. Instant-based trade calculator. Who invented that in 2003? We're pretty sure it's this guy right here. Draft simulator, same thing. So 20 years content's been up here, thefantasyfootballshow.com. I'm doing that, bro. I'm doing, how many live streams do I do a week? Let's see. We have the 5 shows. We've got the Tuesday, Thursday. I'm probably live about 22 hours a week, live streaming alone. Video uploads, all that. I have no time to go watch somebody that mispronounces Bijan Robinson. That's the last person I'm worried about. Somebody that says Bijan. If someone says Bijan, I'm not looking at their channel. I don't have any interest in trying to worry about where they're headed. They're headed to where? I don't know where. they can't even pronounce Bijan. So no.
Fair enough. So what do you think about looking at a consensus list? Do you ever check that?
Well, yeah,
all you have to do is just pull it up.
Yeah, I'm a part of. Yeah, I rank on Fantasy Pros. That's what we talk about all the time. I rank on Fantasy Pros. It doesn't mean that I go over there a lot, but my rankings are a part of their ranking. They do a contest. That's the one I reference where I say over 2019, 2020, and 2021, I believe it was, that I was the number 1 tight end ranker in the industry according to them. I believe in 2022, 2021, and 2020, I was the number 1 quarterback ranker across the 3 years. So, like, yeah, I rank on those consensus. I'm in those consensus rankings. But
yeah,
do I ever delve into a lot of other content? No, I don't. I don't have time.
That's fair, and that's understandable. I just wanted what you thought about like a consensus list and looking at that. If you're ever struggling, just going to that list and go, well,
No, what I like to do is go to ADP data. like on Underdog Fantasy, promo code Smitty, by the way. We'll be drafting tonight. You guys, I'll drop the link right now in the live chat. And if you guys want to draft tonight, you'll want to play Underdog Fantasy. You'll want to click on this link right now. I'm going to try and pin it in the live chat here in a second, but that's the link, and we'll be going to Underdog tonight to draft. But the Underdog ADP is what is really going to drive, I think, a lot. It should be driving a lot of your thinking, because it tells you where other people, not where you should take somebody, where other people are taking somebody. And really looking at an ADP list, and you say to yourself, okay, I've got Tyreek Hill going at 1, 2, 3, 4 overall. Tyreek Hill going at 4 overall. Yet Garrett Wilson is going at, it's unbelievable. Garrett Wilson's going at 14 overall. So Garrett Wilson's down at the bottom there at 14 overall. Tyreek Hill's up at 4. And I honestly believe Garrett Wilson will hang with Tyreek Hill all year long, if not outscore him, or at least be so close to him. So those are the things that make me go, time to trade down. Time to trade my number 4 overall pick down to number 14, 13, 14, get another 3rd or 4th round pick. And now I've got Burrow or London with Garrett Wilson versus just Tyreek Hill. ADP data is a little more important than consensus data. You know, there should be somebody that you follow, like if it's me, if it's someone else, whatever, it's going to help you kind of, you know, maybe get on to players that you might not have been totally on board with, whatever. But then ADP data is going to really walk you through how to smash everybody. And the ADP data specific to your league management, if you're drafting on ESPN, their preset suggested rank is your friend. All right, what else you got?
I'm still doing my best ball draft, and I did pick up Mingo on my next pick. So, yeah, I would say my best ball, $25, pretty much Smitty approved. Going a lot with just what you said.
All right. Hey, all right, hang tight. Jake the Snake, what's up? You're live.
Hey, Smitty. Just wanted to talk value at current ADPs. Ron's probably going to love this part, but I really like George Pickens, where he's currently going in drafts. I think you're seeing the upside of maybe like a Drake London, Christian Watson caliber player. The only caveat really is Deontay Johnson, and like what does he complain? Because Ron had mentioned to me that he like complains a lot when he doesn't get fed. And then I also like Jerick McKinnon at his current ADP, because last year he's kind of a reception monster in KC. Even if Pacheco ends up taking more of a workload this year, those are like 2 guys on my radar that I like a lot.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on those?
Yeah, I mean, Pickens is a moon man, so of course I like Pickens. Pickens is a monster. You know, he's going to 70. I want to say 70.0, 70 exactly. Pickens is going 70 overall on Underdog ADP, and that's a steal. That's an absolute steal. But do I think McKinnon's good? Yeah, I like McKinnon. I think McKinnon's fantastic. I think McKinnon's a must cuff to Pacheco. Pacheco having the hand and shoulder surgeries definitely should have you a little bit concerned. So to cuff him to McKinnon, who's done it before, you know, we know what his role can be in KC. I like McKinnon a lot. McKinnon can be grabbed in like the last couple of rounds too. So McKinnon's fantastic.
Yeah, good to know. I also think like with Pickett, Kenny Pickett, he wasn't like a leader by any means last year, but I think he showed enough for me to trust him. I mean, I do like Drake London a lot, but I am still concerned about Ritter's quarterback play a little bit, where in Pittsburgh, I really do think Pickett could take a nice step forward, and that would be good for Pickens' development. So yeah. I'm drafting George Pickens in a ton of my drafts.
Yeah,
I don't know why.
I hope Pickett does.
Grab him all the time.
I hope Pickett does. I don't know that I'll be starting Pickett in fantasy, but I'm hoping that he does take a big enough step forward that Pickett's looking pretty solid. You know, Pickett's looking like a I don't know, you could say like a solid super flex quarterback for sure. But maybe he plays at a level that like at the end of the year we say, wow, he was kind of maybe bottom of the starting quarterbacks in a 1 QB league. Maybe he plays like Geno, to where, people aren't starting Pickett because he's Pickett, and he continues to play, at that level. And then eventually, like mid-season, people start getting on board, and maybe they're like, I could start Pickett. Like, took a while for people to start Tua, So Pickett could be that guy, but he's certainly good for Pickens. And to answer your question about Deontay, I'm not as worried about Deontay at all. Somebody can complain all they want. Doesn't mean they're going to get the ball. Like, if anything, it's just annoying. But Deontay doesn't have the rapport with Pickett. Pickett to Pickens is the answer. That's the ticket. And, when Pickett's in there, it's clearly Pickens that is his favorite target, not Deontay. Deontay got peppered when Trubisky was in there, when Big Ben was in there, but absolutely feel like this is a easy thing to see coming. George Pickens becoming, and I said this on my Instagram last year, like in the early part of the season, I said the number one wide receiver in Pittsburgh is not Deontay Johnson. Go look at the comments of that Instagram post. They're crazy. They're like, "What do you watch football? This is stupid. He's a wide receiver one. Deontay Johnson's a wide receiver one. He's going to have an amazing fantasy year. He's a target hog." Deontay Johnson, I keep saying Quentin. Deontay Johnson is barely, like, I don't even think he's startable. Like, he's not even a really good wide receiver 3 right now at all. He's like somebody you hope could be. You might draft him to be, like, eventually or something. But he's not even a wide receiver 3 anymore. And people thought he was going to be a wide receiver 1. On my IG post last year, before the season began, I said Pickens is the new wide receiver 1 in Pittsburgh. And everyone thought it was an absolute joke in the comments. It was hilarious. Pickens has a different rapport with Pickett. Pickett does not target Deontay even close to Trubisky or Big Ben, and that's not going to change. We already know what it is.
Similar, so I have a question for you. So one of the worst receiver rooms in the league is in Houston. And I do want to mention this too, is Mechie's coming off of cancer treatment, like having leukemia.
Yeah.
So, and like praying for him, hope his recovery is good and everything. But does that affect, is it Tank Dell that's in Houston? Does that affect like the way you see him at all? Because with Mechie out, there's really no one there to take any volume.
Yeah, I love Tank Dell. That's why Tank Dell is like one of the biggest sleepers on, in terms of late wide receivers that we talk about all the time. Mechie's coming back from the ACL and the cancer, so there's a lot kind of going against him. They think he'll be able to play unhampered this year. Now, the ACL he didn't tear like he was going into the season with that, last year, but he's still like, there's still 2 things he's trying to come back from. So I like Mechie, but the odds are against Mechie being better than Tank Dell. Tank Dell, he's a smaller guy. I know a lot of people have a problem with his size, but Tank Dell to me is that guy you draft late in your draft and you stash him, and he's the potential number 1 there. I love Tank Dell. He's smaller, but he's quick. He's an Antonio Brown-like player. He's very smooth. If you watch his route running, he's so crisp and quick and precise. He is very, very just absolute machine in terms of like route running and changing directions. Just so smooth operator. But yeah, I mean, Mechie's got some upside. I like Mechie. Mechie could be the number 2 wide receiver there. But yeah, Tank Dell I'm banking on for sure. Tank Dell is the man.
Yeah, I agree. I just think like the receiver room is so sparse that Tank Dell is like a natural selection to maybe take over. And my final question, it's in a different situation. I haven't really heard your take on it at all. But the Rams running back room, I think you talked about Akers earlier and how you don't like him. But, like, what's in the Rams running back room? Because they have to start someone. Like, someone has to take this volume. Like, what is that going to look like?
Well, I mean, I don't particularly love Zach Evans, which I just put on screen here. But he's decent. They said he has some special traits. That was the quote yesterday that we put on screen here. Between Zach Evans and Akers, one of them will be starting, I think, one at a time. I don't think they're not going to run like some sort of like committee necessarily. So Akers has a shot to do something. He's a decent value. I can at least admit that, but do I trust him to stay healthy? No. Do I like his ADP? I do. His ADP is still decent. I mean, Akers' his ADP is, let's see here, it's really late, 74 overall. Like that is decent. There's nothing all that risky about taking him around James Conner, James Cook. Like if you're getting him right there. But Zach Charbonnet is behind him on the ADP rank. Montgomery is right behind him. Alvin Kamara is right behind him. I'd rather have those guys over him, but doesn't mean I don't like him over some of the other names that I listed off. Like, he's okay, but I'm not all that excited about that running game. I'm not all that excited about the Rams in general. There's a lot of concern about Stafford. Will he even be able to last the year? Is he going to stay healthy? Stafford's that kind of guy that's like, he's battled through a lot and been able to get out there and play, but he's had didn't he have a broken back at one point? Like, he's had a lot of injuries, and he's getting older, and there was some contemplation, I think, about even playing this year. So part of me wonders if things just fall apart for the Rams again. That's why I'm a little nervous about Cooper Kupp. I like Cooper Kupp, but similar to what I've been talking about with ADP, is you look at Cooper Kupp, who is the number 1, 2, let's see here. He's the number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 overall player, which actually isn't horrible value instead of having to take him at number, 2 or 3. But do I like Garrett Wilson at 14 over Cooper Kupp at 5 or 6? Yes, I do. Do I like going and getting a 3rd and a 4th rounder for my Cooper Kupp pick? If I was drafting Cooper Kupp and somebody said, I'll give you my 3rd and 4th rounder, something I normally probably wouldn't do, but if you told me I could get Burrow in London, or I could get Christian Watson and London for just Cooper Kupp, I would probably take that. But the good thing is you can get a better deal than that. That's the worst case scenario where you're taking a lap because you didn't even maximize your trade value. You could probably trade down into the Garrett Wilson 14 overall pick using your Cooper Kupp pick and get a 4th rounder thrown in. You could get Burrow and Garrett Wilson for Cooper Kupp in a trade if you're crafty in draft pick trading. So easy call for me. I'm just worried about Cooper Kupp. Not to mention Cooper Kupp doesn't exactly have. I know we love Cooper Kupp, and rightfully so. The guy was an absolute, his triple crown year. Let me see if I've got Cooper Kupp's stats somewhere. His triple crown year was phenomenal. But Cooper Kupp only has those two seasons of 1,000 yards. He's only had 1,000 yards twice. So, I don't have it on me, but he had 2 years of 1,000 yards or more. And that's just not it doesn't feel like he's an absolute lock like everybody thinks at his prime age of 30? Let me pull up his stats here and put it on screen. But it's crazy when you look at it. You would think he's had a better career than he has the way that we value him. He's turning 30 years old on June 15. It's coming up here. And as much as I love Cooper Kupp, this is not to rip on him. This is me just saying that he doesn't have the stats to back up where we're guaranteeing him to rebound to. You've got a 1,900-yard season, which was unbelievable. But only one other season did he ever have 1,000 yards. So here, let me put it on screen. So he's turning 30. And then this is his career game log. So 1947, the top red line, obviously amazing. 16 touchdowns, 145 receptions, triple crown winner. One of the best seasons we'll ever see ever in the history of the NFL at the wide receiver position and in fantasy football. So we need to hats off to the moon. Absolute monster. No one's taking that away from him. But literally one other 1,000-yard season, and he's 30 years old this year. So it's just not something that we can look at Cooper Kupp and say, oh, he's absolutely worth the 4th overall. There's no risk, when we don't know what his quarterback situation is going to be.
Yeah, I agree. No, and thank you for answering my questions. Those were just the few units that I was a little concerned about, and I just didn't really know my thoughts on them.
Yeah, Tank Dell to the moon.
I'll probably ask you for a few more.
Tank Dell to the moon. All right, hang tight real quick. George from the Bay, you're live.
Yeah, Smitty, right before the show, it's funny you brought up that Barkley discussion with the wide receiver because I had to pick 11, 1.11, and I was faced with a decision because Garrett Wilson went. If he would have fell to me at 11, I would have taken him, obviously. You know I like to reach. But so he went at 10, so I was looking at Adams, Taylor, Barkley, Lamb, and Bijan was still available. But I have so many Bijan shares, I was like, I got to do some variance here. You're probably not going to like this, but I took Adams at 11, and then the next guy went Taylor, Barkley back-to-back, and then I went CD Lamb. So I started my draft with Adams and Lamb for my 2 wide receivers. What do you think of that?
It's not bad. I tend to like balance if I can get it, but I don't mind that. Lamb and who?
Adams.
I mean, I don't like Devontae Adams.
Yeah.
I mean, you know that. You know I don't like Devontae Adams, don't you?
Yeah, I mean, I know you're thinking that there's going to be a little drop off. I mean, but he's consistently over 1,000 yards every year. Could be 10 touchdowns. I know Jimmy kind of sucks or whatever, but I mean, for a wide receiver one, if he gets over 1,000 yards and 10 touchdowns, that's pretty damn good.
But do you think that he's going to have 10 touchdowns? Do you like just because he's normally getting this or normally getting that? His situation has never been bad. He's either had Aaron Rodgers or Derek Carr, who laser locks on a wide receiver exactly like Aaron Rodgers. So we can't really use history. We can't sit here and go, oh, he usually gets 1,000 yards. He usually gets 1,000 yards with Derek Carr or Aaron Rodgers. You know, and I'm not saying he can't get 1,000 yards in this offense. 1,000 yards is nothing, though. 1,000 yards I could care less about. That's 17 games now. Like 1,000 yards is what, like 50, let's see, exact number. 1,000 yards divided by 17 games is now 58.8. 58.8 yards. He better get 58 yards a game. So 1,000 yards doesn't mean anything to me. Does he get you 1,500 yards, 1,400 yards, 1,300 yards at least? Does he get you 10 touchdowns? Who was available when you took Adams, though? Like, I'd rather have Garrett Wilson in a heartbeat. I'd rather have Garrett Wilson. I'd rather have Olave.
Garrett Wilson went at 10, so I was going to take Wilson at 11, but he went at 10. So I was looking at JT, Barkley, CD Lamb, Adams, and Bijan was still available. But I have so many Bijan shares this season. This is like my 50th draft, so I was like, because Bijan I got like 90% of. Like, he's almost in every team I got.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, I gotta have some variance here. Oh yeah, and St. Brown was there, so I could have went St. Brown, but I think at 11 it was either JT or Adams, so I went with Adams.
I mean, look, it's one draft. It's not a big deal. It's a one puppy draft, right? So it's $5, not a big deal. But Bijan would have been phenomenal there, bro. I don't care how many shares I have of Bijan. I'm never taking Adams over Bijan. I would have taken Bijan.
Yeah, I mean, 100% of Bijan is just crazy, though. I mean, I've got him in like 45 out of 50 drafts.
Well,
it's insane.
You know what's good about that, though? Everybody says don't put all your eggs in one basket. I get it. I feel very similar in some ways. But when you think about the variation of it, bro, if we are right on Bijan and you want to bank a season on that, and I'm okay putting an entire fantasy football season, all of my teams. I can. There's certain players I can get behind putting all my eggs in one basket. I could put all my eggs in one basket with Joe Burrow, and if he gets hurt or something, then I'm not going to sit here and go, "Why didn't I do that?" Like, I'm banking on the fact that he won't get hurt. I'm banking on the fact that he has better protection than ever. And if I lose one season, big deal. But when you get a situation where you have, let's say we're right on Bijan, and let me get this thing to focus here. Let's say we're right on Bijan, okay? And now you get all these different offshoots of Bijan teams. And let's say you have 100% ownership of Bijan. Every single one of these teams is going to be slightly different. And you're covering your bases in a way of saying, I got a Bijan and Garrett Wilson team. I got a Bijan and so-and-so team. I got a Bijan and early quarterback. I have a Bijan and late quarterback. And you end up just constantly, changing this whole thing. I love the idea of going all in on a player or two that you truly believe is going to work out and just getting the best varieties and versions of that Bijan built team and covering your bases. You know what I mean? Because if you have
looking back at it now at the 11 when Bijan's there, I don't know why I passed him up. I should have just took him. That was stupid.
Yeah, I mean, you're gonna have enough opportunities where you don't get Bijan. You'll be fine. There'll be a lot of times where you miss on Bijan. You don't get him. Somebody else snipes him from you. He's going to start going at 4 and 5 and overall. Like, get as many Bijan shares as you can. But I'm so into the idea of on a couple players that I love, like Bijan and Burrow. I'm so into the idea of just getting as many variations as I can of that team, because you're not gonna be able to draft the same team over and over, but you're gonna have slightly different variables. It's like a psychology experiment. There's always controls. So if we believe Bijan's gonna be the winning team, the person that has Bijan is gonna be the winning team in 2023, just because of the value you're gonna get out of this guy, let's say at 12 or 11. Then if I have him as the control and the variation is all these other things, then I'm going to put myself in the best chance to win if I'm right on Bijan. Or the same thing with Burrow. Let's say it's Bijan and Burrow. Let's say I've got, and that's probably, I'd say the two players that I own the most shares of, and I'd say Charbonnet. So let's say these are my constants. I'm always drafting these guys constantly. Bijan, Burrow, Charbonnet, and a lot of times on the same team. Now, even though I'm putting all my eggs in one basket, if I'm right, I might be wrong, and so be it. But I'm willing to bank on that these are my guys, or a couple of Olave. I have a lot of Olave shares. So let's say these are my core players, and there's other players that I love, but these are my core players, and I'm drafting these guys on the same team, and Alvin Kamara even. I'm drafting Kamara too, because he's so late. These are like guys that I probably have, if I had to guess, some of the highest percentage of ownership on Underdog Fantasy. Promo code Smitty. We're drafting tonight. Link is in the live chat. Make sure you get on over there. Let me paste the link real quickly. Let me paste the link now. I'll pin the link in the live chat. Make sure you click on that. Get ready. Get signed up. Minimum $10 deposit. They'll match up to $100 on your first deposit. Get ready because we're drafting tonight. But let's say these are my highest percentage of ownership, and it probably is. I'm okay drafting this over and over and over and over and over again because the variables are consistent. And if I get Garrett Wilson in this one, and in this one I get Watson and London, and I've got that covered. In this one I get Kenneth Walker to go along with my Charbonnet share, and I just continue to circle around every option that I can add to these guys. If I land these guys, I'm gonna probably have one of these teams be the perfect team. That's the way I look at best ball.
Yeah, I think the two, maybe three highest ownership I have Fields in like 44 of 50 drafts. I got Flowers in almost every single draft, and Mingo in every single draft. And I love those guys. Like, those are my main guys.
Mingo was his name-o.
Yeah.
Am I up in any drafts?
We'll see you tonight, man.
All right, man. Appreciate you.
All right, later.
Am I up in any drafts? I am. I'm up in a draft right here. I've got Burrow, Tony Pollard, Jamar Chase, and Debo. I didn't like taking Debo, but he was my fourth drafted player. I felt like, I wanted to go wide receiver with the pick. I'm on the clock right now. This is in round number 5. I need an RB, but I could go wide receiver here. Hopkins is there. Mike Evans is there. No, thank you. Tight ends, no, thank you. I've got Joe Burrow already. You know what? It's a little early, but we're in snipe season. I'm going to go DeAndre Swift. I've got Tony Pollard, DeAndre Swift, Jamar Chase, Debo, Joe Burrow in that league. So I just drafted there. I'm up in another Moon Man draft. You know what? I might as well plug in for this so that I can show you guys all my picks as I pick them. Let's get into this. Okay, so here it is. Jake the Snake, I'm going to come back over to you in 1 second. So in this particular team, I've got Burrow, McCaffrey, Swift, Javonte, CeeDee Lamb, DJ Moore, Mike Evans. Best player available, I suppose. Who do I have queued? I guess I could go. Don't have a tight end yet. I'm pretty balanced. I could go best player available pretty easily here. Jahan Dotson's interesting. Jameson Williams is pretty interesting here. Let me go. I like Jameson here. Running backs. I like some of these guys, but I don't know about right now. So Burrow's my QB. I'm going to go with Jameson Williams and add that to my wide receiver arsenal here. So CeeDee Lamb, DJ Moore, Mike Evans, Jameson Williams, McCaffrey, Swift, Javonte. Not bad. Okay, going back over to this other draft that I'm up on. These are the Moonman drafts. This team I have Mahomes. This one I got timed out a bunch. Best player available. Who's my quarterback? I got Mahomes. Rice. Let's just go Jordan Love. I need a backup quarterback. Okay, this draft right here, I got Barkley and Garrett Wilson. Barkley and Garrett Wilson. I've got almost back-to-back picks here. So we're going to go ahead and go with, let's see, Barkley, Garrett Wilson. Barkley, Garrett Wilson. So we got Ramondre available. We've got Etienne Walker. Walker's too early. Wide receivers are really thin. We got London. Barkley, Garrett Wilson. I like Etienne and Stevenson here. I do. Quarterbacks. There's no Joe Burrow. It's just Lamar.
I like Stevenson too.
Yeah, Stevenson's not bad. Hawkinson's not bad. I do want wide receivers, though. I mean, I could go London early here. It's early, though. Yeah, I'll go Stevenson. Well, do I go ETN?
Running back rooms are monsters.
Do I go ETN, though? Well, I don't have a lot of.
What's your exposure to?
I don't have a lot of Stevenson shares, so I'm going to go Stevenson. So I think I'm caught up on my drafts there. So I'm caught up on my drafts. Thank you for reminding me, whoever did that. What else you got? We got Matt Biaggi on the phone. Jake the Snake still on the phone. Final thoughts, fellas. Let's go to Jake the Snake first. Final thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really have much. I was just thinking around the league of different rooms, but I'll call back in at some point and ask about a few other situations. Because I'm with you. I'm more interested on the smaller name rookie wide receivers that have clear paths to volume. I just think it's going to be hard for the big name guys to really kind of explode this year. But I guess I could be wrong.
Yeah.
But thanks for having me on again.
Yeah, man. Call in later tonight. Appreciate you. Later. Matt Biaggi, final thoughts.
I just want to shout out my Cleveland Browns for cracking in the top 10 in power rankings.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
And, who put them at 10?
PFF.
Huh. That's interesting.
I think they're coming in at number 9. They cracked the top 10.
That's interesting.
Fifth in the AFC, they got them.
I don't know. I don't have them there. I don't have them there.
I know you don't.
Yeah, I don't see how they're ranked there. I don't see how anybody could have them.
I guess they see potential. Maybe. I know that's what the Browns are. They always look good on paper, but
yeah, I just don't know how you. I mean, you guys got weapons for sure, but you literally had your quarterback come in, and literally your running back didn't run for a single rushing touchdown the moment Watson got in there. I don't even understand how they could come up with that. Like, I could see him as a sleeper. I think
it was just awkward. You know, it was an awkward thing. So hopefully this year,
but
all that other crap's behind him.
That's such Like, we gotta wait and see it. We gotta see it. Like, I could see where they could be like, hey, this could be a team that could jump into the top 10. They're like 18 right now, but we're really hopeful that this could be one of those surprise top 10 finishes. That I could totally understand. I disagree with it still, but I could be like, yeah, that makes sense. But to literally have the Browns as number 9. That's crazy to me.
It's PFF.
Yeah, well. All right, later, Biaggi.
Later.
That's crazy. I definitely wouldn't put any stock into that. Yeah, that was funny. Please fall more, Kenneth Walker. Kenneth Walker falling below Watson on the ADP. Yeah, which is great. Kenneth Walker falling really far on the ADP rankings. ADP rankings have updated. We've got Walker falling to the 45 overall territory. That's below Najee, below Gibbs, below Etienne, below Stevenson, just above Aaron Jones, Miles Sanders, J.K. Dobbins. This is a very, very good thing to have Kenneth Walker fall. I have Bijan, Olave, and Watson. That's nice. Blind Larry, nice job. Who are you picking out of Najee, Burrow, London, Walker, or Pitts? Burrow. Probably Burrow, bro. I take Burrow, Blind Larry. I take Burrow. Akers or Sanders? I'd probably go Sanders. What doing would you take Fields in Dynasty? I don't know what that means, Big O. You're going to have to rephrase that. Because I don't know what in the heck that means, bro. Yeah, it's hopefully Kenneth Walker falls more and more. It looks like I'm back up in another draft. This is the one where I've got all those players. Let me see. I timed out on this one like crazy. All right, guys, I'm out of here. I'll see you all tonight. We'll be drafting live. Underdog Fantasy promo code Smitty. The link has been dropped in the live chat. I pinned it. I'll drop it once more. There it is. Make sure you sign up and get ready. Appreciate you all. Is advocating picking bad teams on purpose cheating? I don't know. Not necessarily. Dobbins or Sanders? Probably Sanders, but I don't know. That one's tough. Find those bad players are suddenly catching draft favor. Appreciate you, Daddy Dennis. All right, guys. See you all later.
Get Brees.
Brees Hall is 8 foot tall. He will always answer the mother freaking call. Don't let him fall. In the third, don't stall. Just give Batman the freaking football.
He's Brees. He's Brees.
He does a hull of a job. A hull of a job. A hull of a job.
Brees Hall, please report to the moon.
He does a hell of a job.